Most people spend more than 10 years of their lives chasing the wrong things. 10 years are gone. No rewinding, no reset. Time slips away faster than we think. But we live as if it's endless. The truth is, it's not. Every day you put off, every excuse you tell yourself, that time is gone forever. I know, because I did the same thing. I spent years on things that never mattered. Lessons that could have spared me all that suffering. No one ever told me those. I had to learn them the hard way. But in the next few minutes, I'll share what took me years to realize. The question is, will you accept it before your years disappear? Chapter 1. Time is a trap. We all think we have more time than we actually do. That's the biggest illusion. We tell ourselves, I'll figure it out next year, I still have plenty of time. But blink and suddenly a decade is gone. Think about it. 2015 feels like it was just yesterday, right? And yet, 10 years have already passed. Some of us still think that 2010 was just a couple of years ago. Spoiler alert, no, it wasn't. That's how sneaky time is. There's even a psychological reason for this. When your days all look the same, wake up, work, scrolling, sleep, repeat, your brain doesn't bother storing those memories as unique. Neurologists call this memory compression. Basically, the less novelty you have in your life, the faster the years fly by. That's why childhood seems so long. Every year was full of first times. But in adult life, everything becomes blurry. And here's the trap. We keep waiting for the right moment to act, not realizing that those moments quietly slip away. If you're not careful, you're not just wasting time. Time is erasing you. So what's the solution? Create time markers, break the routine, take a different route to work, learn a new skill, say yes to things you usually avoid. These small acts of novelty make your brain slow down and truly register the experience. Because life doesn't get longer by adding years. It gets longer when you add more moments. Chapter 2. The lie of the comfort zone. Comfort is cunning. It seems safe, it seems easy and pleasant, but it's one of the most dangerous places to get stuck. Imagine you're wrapped in a warm blanket while the world rushes ahead without you. Cozy? Absolutely. But progress? Zero. That's why your brain is programmed to resist change. It's a survival mechanism. The brain wants to save energy, so it pushes you toward familiar patterns, even if those patterns are actually harmful. That's why scrolling for hours feels easy, while starting a new project feels exhausting. Your brain isn't lazy, it's efficient. But that efficiency can kill growth. And I know this mindset all too well. I kept telling myself, I'll start tomorrow. But the problem is that tomorrow always came dressed in yesterday's clothes. The same routines, the same excuses, the same results. So how do you break out? You don't need to turn your life upside down. What you need is what I call discomfort reps, small acts of voluntary discomfort that train your mind like a muscle. Take a cold shower, speak up at the meeting at least once, start a tiny project you've been putting off. These moments of resistance build strength because growth doesn't live in comfort. Growth lives in those small, uncomfortable choices you'd rather skip. Chapter 3. Focus beats motivation. We give too much credit to motivation. People say, I'll start when I feel motivated. But if motivation really worked, my laundry basket wouldn't always be overflowing. Motivation is like a weak Wi-Fi signal. Sometimes it connects, sometimes it drops out, and it usually cuts off right when you need it most. I've had days when I sat at my desk, waiting for inspiration to magically appear. Hours would pass, and nothing would happen. But as soon as I forced myself to focus, even on a bad day, the work got done. Here's why. Motivation is emotional fuel. It flares up, fades, and is unpredictable. Focus, on the other hand, is a skill. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that controls attention, can be trained like a muscle. And science shows that dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, increases not only when you start something with enthusiasm, but also when you make progress. Tiny wins trigger rewards that keep you moving forward. So stop waiting for motivation. Build anchors of focus instead. Work in blocks of 25 to 30 minutes. Eliminate digital noise and set micro goals. Tell yourself just one sentence or just 20 minutes. Once you start, momentum will take over. Motivation fades, but focus remains. Train it every day. Chapter 4. Comparison kills joy. Nothing steals joy faster than comparison. We live in a world where doom scrolling is practically a sport. You open your phone and it seems like everyone else is winning. Better careers, better bodies, better vacations, better lives. And suddenly your own progress seems insignificant. But here's what we forget. You're comparing your progress to someone else's achievements. Their carefully edited 5-second story is set against your unfiltered reality. No wonder you always feel like you're falling behind. Psychologists call this the social comparison theory. Our brains are wired to constantly rank ourselves relative to others. This was useful when we lived in small tribes. Knowing your status meant survival. But in the modern world, this instinct is distorted. Instead of comparing ourselves to 10 people in a village, we compare ourselves to millions of filtered lives online. The ranking system is broken, and it's rigged against you. It's like judging your life by someone else's Instagram filter. The result will always be unfair. So what's the solution? Stop playing their game, start your own. Create a personal growth map. Track yourself this week compared to last week. Have you improved by even 1%? That's progress, and it's real because joy doesn't come from being ahead of others. It comes from knowing you're further than you were yesterday. Chapter 5. Systems beat willpower. We love to glorify willpower, as if the secret to success is just trying harder. But here's the truth. Willpower is limited. It's like a phone battery. It's useful for short bursts, but it drains quickly. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up every morning and ask yourself, am I motivated to do this today? No, you do it because the routine is automatic. That's the power of a system. They don't ask your mood for permission. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. Every decision takes away a bit of your mental energy. That's why you can start the day full of energy and end it mindlessly snacking at midnight. The brain conserves energy by turning repeated actions into habits. Systems are simply habits made intentional. And what's the catch? I used to think I needed more discipline, but it turned out I just needed fewer decisions. So how do you set this up? When designing systems, set up cues, like sneakers by the door, by preparing your environment. Keep unhealthy food out of sight, put water on your desk, automate the habits you want, and you'll hardly need any willpower to stick to them. Because success isn't about waking up every day with superhuman discipline. It's about designing your life so that the right action becomes easy. Chapter 6. Pain is a teacher. No one likes pain. We avoid it, numb it, or try to escape it. But here's the twist. Pain is often the most honest teacher we have. Think about the hardest moments in your life. A breakup, rejection, a failure you thought you'd never recover from. At the time, it felt unbearable. But looking back, those moments probably shaped you more than any easy victory. Science explains why. Brain scans show that emotional pain activates the same areas as physical pain. That's why heartbreak literally hurts. But here's the interesting part. After recovery, the brain builds even stronger connections in those same areas. In other words, progress is built through repair. Pain makes you grow in ways that comfort never could. I used to think my mistakes were wasted years, but now I see them as tuition fees, the price I paid for lessons I wouldn't have learned otherwise. Here's a reframe instead of asking, why me? When life hurts, ask, what is this teaching me? What could comfort never teach me? That question turns suffering into progress, because success might impress you, but pain transforms. And if you let it, pain becomes a teacher that prepares you for the life you've been avoiding. So let's finish with truths that took me a decade to learn. Time flies faster than we think. Comfort keeps us trapped. Focus beats motivation. Comparison kills joy. Systems outlast willpower, and pain teaches more than ease ever could. Here's the good news. You don't need 10 years to figure this out. Life doesn't change over decades. It changes in moments. One decision, one action can change your direction. So pick one idea, practice it today, even for just 2 minutes. And if this helped you, subscribe, share, and come back. We're building clarity and strength together. Remember, a decade of lessons can start with one small decision you make right now. See you soon.